back. He is the vice chair of the Nature Coast Region Caucus, and he is also the chair of the Hernando Democrats. We have Ash Marwah here. He is our candidate for Florida House 52. And I want to thank the people that helped put this together, because I didn't do it by myself. A lot of you sent out the messages and the emails and forwarded them so that the word could get out. So thank you for that. Oh, Eleanor, she is, I'm sorry, here's my notes. Eleanor is from Osceola County, and she is the head of diversity and inclusion for the Florida Democratic Party. And she's also head of her Osceola Lighthouse Democratic Caucus. And just coming in the door are two very special people to all of us. Peggy Garvin and Wendy O'Donnell. Years ago, when we didn't know each other and couldn't find each other, they formed the Rainbow Family and Friends. Thank you so much for your Peggy is also very involved with PFLAG, so thank you for all that you do for our community. Yes. We had our greeters. We had Bart Deeper and Dee Melvin and Boyd Byrne Udovic and Kristen Wilson. Kristen and Vern are our neighbors, and you wouldn't believe what they do to kind of keep me going. So thank you for that. And a special recognition to my white band. Yes, because I couldn't do everything I could do if she didn't do everything at home and everything to support me and remind me that, 18 bottles of wine might be too many. But also, in her words, she does it so I can help save democracy. So thank you. I just want to ask you if you remember where you were on June 26, 2015. When you heard, let me see if I can get this to play. Well, it's when they are announcing again, my house, my sound the other day on my laptop. Sorry that that's happened. So, I know how to do it. I don't want either. Okay, well, you can tell what's happening is that they announced that our marriages were legal. And Kennedy wrote the decision, and we have this framed in our house. But the right for same-sex couples to marry is part of liberty, equality, and dignity in the eyes of the law. That's what the Supreme Court gave us that time. And it changed all of our lives, and maybe we got a little relaxed a little bit. Hey, we got this. Well, no. When the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade, they did it because the right to privacy was what they used. And so the question was, what other rights are they going to take away? Yep. Yeah. No, we're not going to take any other rights away, except one of them made a prediction. And here he is. Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas argued that the Supreme Court should reconsider its past rulings codifying the right to contraception, same-sex relationships, and same-sex marriage. All because he thinks they were decided wrongly, not that it's a precedent. We can't let that happen. We have got to start standing up for our rights and for our community.
You didn't include interracial marriage.
No, yeah. Did you remember when blacks and whites couldn't marry?
In Texas, the Republican Party and their platform called us abnormal. They endorsed not having any medical treatment for trans kids. And they also approved, lost our word. Conversion. That's who they are. They are full of hate towards us. There are 10 anti-LGBTQ bills that are going into effect this year, but look at the states that are planning more. We have all across the country. We have got to stop that. It has to stop at the state level. Here's another video that won't play. Okay, so one of the things he says in this video is that he wants to teach education, and it's all about that, and all for the family. What about families that are different from what he thinks they should be? Yes, he thinks that we're grooming. So there he is. Yeah, I'm trying to get those people. So, yeah, I love this little picture that he puts up there. He looks so pious. We don't need to hear him anyway. Blah, 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 blah. We have got to stop this. We have got to stop what's happening at our state. We have got to stop it before it gets worse. So, I'm just going to skip through that. There are groups that are standing up against what's happening, not just in our state, but in other states. But what happened with Disney? Okay, their timing was a little off. They could have done it before the bill was signed. But they said, we stand in solidarity and support of our LGBTQIA plus cast, crew, guests, and fans who make their voices heard today and every day. They made their voices known to Disney. And that is why Disney came out with that statement. And even when Ron DeSantis went against them and bullied them, they did not back down. So, thanks to Disney, but thanks to the Disney employees and fans, because they are the ones that made that happen. Here's a high school kid giving his graduation speech. Xander was president of his senior class. He was also president of his freshman, sophomore, and junior class. He was an out gay student over in the Sarasota area. When the Don't Say Gay bill was passed, he organized a rally. Then he organized a school walkout against it. And he is a plaintiff in a federal case claiming that the Don't Say Gay law is discriminating. Yes. So he's going to give a speech at his graduation. School board said, you mention any of your activities, we're going to cut the mic. This is what he did. He talked about his curly hair. He said, I feel different. I've had this curly hair. It's hard to have this curly hair in Florida because of the humidity. He felt he was all alone, and a teacher helped him accept his curly hair. Then he found that other kids had curly hair. It is one of the most clever speeches you could ever hear. Now, he has been on national TV, he's been on Good Morning America, he's been on all kinds of newspapers and magazines. He got more attention for his curly hair speech than he would have had he just given a protest speech about being gay. And the teacher helped him come out and be gay and help him with his family. And that's why he is so concerned, because he's lived that, as many of us have. We must speak out with a united voice. Our message must be heard. Our message to kids who feel they are different, and we have all been there, or to kids whose families are not like their families. we need to tell them you are okay. They need to hear that. Our message to the parents of those kids. Your kid is okay. They need your love and support. Our message to our family and friends. Here they all are. We are okay. Listen and learn about our issues. We need your love and support. We need everybody that cares about us, that cares about our relationships and knows we are good people. Support us, stand up with us, and fight for what is right for our community. Our message to elected candidates and elected officials. We are okay. Listen and learn about our issues. They need to know what our community is like. Because we are a large voting bloc, and we need to use that bloc. So here is Xander again. He's going to Harvard. This boy's going to go to Harvard. But this is his closing remark. Those with the most power are coming for those with the least. We must claim our power and give it to the people who will protect us. And we need to do that if we're going to protect ourselves and protect the ones that come after us. So, first I want to ask you all, if you've been to the website of the Sumter County Democrats, you will see how wonderful it is, which is a testimony to the talents of Nathan Sharp, who designed it. Nathan is the managing director of Sharp Ideas. Clever name, don't you think? And he specializes in digital marketing, direct marketing, and political consulting. So a few months ago, Nathan, who was president of the Citrus Caucus, called me and called Brian. He had this great idea that we, the three of us, should go together with our counties and form a regional caucus. Because we're here today, you can see how persuasive he can be. Yes. So I thank him because we need to do this, especially now more than ever. So he's going to say a few words about our local caucus.
All right. Chris is always a tough act to follow. She's a former school teacher, so whenever I have to speak after Chris, it's always a challenge.
But your technology would work.
True. First, I'd like to offer a special thank you to Chris Anderson and her wife and the Sumter DEC. I'm humbled at the turnout this evening. This group of people is super impressive for me. I want to begin with telling you a story. I'm not exactly one of those people that is a voracious fan of a celebrity or a politician or an author, but a few years ago, I was introduced to a TED Talk by Brene Brown. Some of you may have heard of her, and it changed my life. To paraphrase one of her central philosophies, we're all hardwired for connection, all of us, and that connection begins with storytelling. I was born and raised in Citrus County, so your neighbor, just across the Withlacoochee River, and 25 years ago this year, I came out. Like many of us do, I tested the waters with close confidants before coming out to my parents. Looking back, I was privileged. I was away at college, my parents were up here, I was down at FAU in Boca Raton, so they couldn't throw me out of the house. Like that, so that happens to so many of the kids in our communities, especially in our rural areas. I know Chris and Brian, we all hear the horror stories that happen. My parents eventually became my biggest advocates, but it took a while. I want to bring in some social and political context of that time. I came out in early 1997, the year that Ellen was made notorious for her episode of the show entitled Puppy, where the title character of the show came out on primetime television. So many of us in the room, I'm sure, remember that episode. The drug Combivir, the first of its kind combination antiviral therapy, which helped turn the tide of the AIDS pandemic, wouldn't be released until the fall of that year. My mom was a nurse. She was very concerned. That was the first thing. She's like, you're going to get AIDS and you're going to die. So this is, I come from this era, even though I look like I might be 20. So in 1997, PrEP was a distant 13 years away. Lawrence v. Texas, as Chris mentioned, was still 6 years in the future when I came out, which left our population vulnerable to criminal prosecution for just being who we are. The intervening years between the late 1990s and 2016 were marked by many advances and landmark moments toward equality for our community, until we woke up one morning in 2016. And on that morning, we discovered a new era was about to begin in our country. Many of us were caught off guard by the viciousness and hate that this new regime in the White House was able to bring out of the shadows and back into the mainstream. And I mean, for those of us from rural communities, we knew that that shadowy thing wasn't very far away. It was always lurking. I'm going to stray one last time into the personal here. In May 2020, during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, I married my husband in the back of the room in a small private outdoor ceremony. We didn't know where the country was headed, and every day some new atrocity against our democracy and freedom was being committed by the prior administration. We were afraid that our right to get married would be soon destroyed, so I finally got involved with politics. That was my motivating moment. In August of 2020, I was elected president of the Democratic Equality Caucus of Citrus County. That's the predecessor to our current organization, and joined my county's DEC as a precinct committee man. As a county level organization, we work side by side with our Democratic organizations in our county, doing voter outreach, voter registration, and promoting visibility of the party. One of the things our organization struggled with was maintaining our membership roster throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Folks also needed a break after a 4-year political fight. We thought we were getting a break. We had a Democrat in the White House. We thought we had a majority in the Senate and the House. So everybody kind of took a pause. I was worried about the sustainability of our organization as vaccination rates remain low in our county, and we were forced to still keep having, we canceled all of our in-person events. In February of 2022, we made our first public appearance at Pasco Pride, where I had the opportunity to meet Brian Stewart, and an idea bloomed. The notion that we're stronger together in the face of rampant legislation during the 2022 legislation. So we wrote a letter to Stephen at the Floirda LGBTQ Democratic Caucus, asking for approval to form something new, a regional organization that would encompass Sumter, Hernando, and Citrus counties. So who are we? We're a group of everyday people, just like you, who are working to make a difference in our communities. We're an all-volunteer organization that derives its strength and its passion from our individual members who work as a team to promote equality and other issues. We seek to bring awareness about the LGBTQ+ community to our neighbors, local elected officials, government agencies, and work with our Democratic executive committees to ensure our voices are heard and support voter registration, get out the vote initiatives, and other activities to support the election of Democrats up and down the ticket. We also seek to build community. We're in an interesting position here in rural Central Florida. We don't have the pride centers that they have in the big blue counties. We don't even have a gay bar or a lesbian bar. We have nothing. So while normally it's outside the realm of many of our political organizations, we were trying to serve a dual purpose to build community and activism in our communities. We come together at a crucial time, from legislation like the Don't Say Gay law and the Stop Woke Act, and with a governor willing to push through administrative rules that would be detrimental to our transgender brother and sisters. We're seen as an assault on our community, the likes of which we haven't seen in 40 years. This assault is occurring at the local level too, with anti-LGBTQ+ candidates running for races at all levels of city and county government. An assault that was given additional fuel when Justice Thomas's concurrence to the Dobbs decision that not only threatens marriage equality, but the Lawrence v. Texas decision that protects our community's right to exist. I hope you consider joining our organization as we work to fight back against bigotry and hate. Together we're stronger. Together as a community we can present a united front. Together we can do something to stand against those who do us harm. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Nathan. He's a great leader for our group.
someone else came in that I would like to recognize. Shante Munns is our candidate for Congressional District 11. It's currently represented by Daniel Webster. Even worse is his primary opponent, Laura Loomer. We need to elect Shante Munns. Stephen Gaskill is the president of the Florida LGBTQ Democratic Caucus. And to show you how dedicated he is to our community and what we're doing here, he drove all the way up here from Delray Beach. So he's using his day to do that. His background is in communications with a BS degree in journalism from the University of Maryland, which is impressive. What's more impressive are all the Democrats that he has worked with over the course of his career. He served in both terms of the Clinton administration as a special assistant to the Secretary of Labor and was communications director for OSHA. He held senior roles in Bill Clinton, Al Gore, and John Kerry's presidential campaigns, has been an advisor and spokesperson for the Gore and Kerry families. He was the personal spokesman for Tipper Gore. Yes.
Wow.
He was press secretary and spokesperson for the presidential inaugural campaign. He comes to us with, and he was also a founding member of the LGBT caucus of the Democratic Party. He has spent so much energy and time for democratic issues, for LGBTQ issues, and his leadership is really helping us statewide. So please give a warm welcome to Steve Gaskill.
Thank you for giving me 90 minutes to speak tonight. I appreciate that. First off, I am amazed, as Nathan said, this is amazing. Thank you all so much for being here on a Saturday evening. It's just phenomenal and really
We don't have any
shows-
gay bars.
I'm not buying drinks. Not what I'm going to say, right? It's phenomenal that you're here, and actually the energy in the room is really, I mean, you can feel it, and despite the fact that Florida seems to be heading another direction, it's events like this and groups like this that really make us feel that we can pull it back from the direction that it seems to be heading. I want to thank Chris for organizing tonight and for Nathan for bringing it all together. Let me tell you a little bit to kick off my 90 minutes about the LGBTQ caucus. We were formed around the 2004-2005 timeframe, and Bill Baines, who's now a Villages resident, was in Fort Lauderdale at the time, and he was one of the founding members as well, so thank you, Bill, for that. We're now the largest organization we've ever been. We're based around county chapters. Right now, with the addition of this organization now in three counties, we're in 25 counties across Florida, from Miami to Jacksonville to Pensacola. So we cover the state. We're growing in the red areas. Here we are. We have chapters in Seminole County and Okaloosa County, up in Pensacola and Escambia County. Brevard County is one of our biggest chapters of the Space Coast, which was formed a few years ago. It's truly amazing. I mean, you think about, when we talk to legislators and elected officials and candidates, they think, oh, of course, LGBTQ people are in the cities. And they automatically think Miami and Broward and Tampa. But here we are, we're growing across the state. We're thrilled and ecstatic and pleased to represent everybody, every LGBTQ Democrat across the state of Florida. Right now, we are all fighting for equality, which is the goal of our caucus. We support pro-equality candidates and elected officials. We promote pro-equality policies. It's getting tougher to do that in Florida, which makes our work even more important. What we do as a statewide organization is to mobilize and organize and provide an umbrella for our county chapter organizations to grow. I like to say we're kind of a confederation. the county chapters have incredible autonomy, because what's going to work here in Sumter County isn't necessarily going to work in Broward County, and we know that. So we're not top down, we're not gonna tell you, here's what you need to do. We'll provide some outlines, some guidelines, we'll provide a framework for you to work with the other county chapters and the other leadership to come up with ideas, to come up with policies, to come up with programs that are going to help you turn out your voters, to represent the LGBTQ plus community across the state of Florida for what works here in Sumter County. I can tell you that ever since we formed in 2004-05, we've been wanting a chapter up here. This is like Moby Dick, you're the white whale. Anybody in the organization who's been around for a while will tell you that. So this is just phenomenal. Let me touch on a few things. So over the years, as we've grown, we have achieved a level of visibility, credibility, and authority that I don't think we've quite reached our peak yet, because we're still growing. But because of the work starting with the county chapters, we have incredible relationships with local elected officials and candidates. We are very close to our congressional delegation, and we're very close to the Biden administration as we were to the Obama administration. When we have our conferences, when we have our meetings, we have White House involvement. And I can tell you that from the perspective of all of the other organizations that are affiliated with the Florida Democratic Party, which is our chartering organization, we're the only one that really reaches that level. We have forged our way, and we've found a way that works for us so that we represent our community. And we built partnerships with our elected officials and our candidates to the point where they're coming to us. There was a time where we had to go to them and beg them to pay attention to us. And Bill can talk about this because he's a data guy. And there was a product that he produced years ago where we extrapolating data, and I don't even know what sources you use, but basically we had data that we walked into candidates' offices, to state legislative offices, and said, this is the number of LGBTQ people in your district. And they didn't believe it. They thought that they had no gay people. And this is not too long ago. But we had to say, look, here's the data. Here's the hard data based on the census, based on the other materials that we found. And we had to make the case to say, this is why you need to care about us, because we're here. And it works. Because we know that we're everywhere, even in the villages. So, let me tell you about a few of the projects that we're working on right now, because I still have 80 minutes left. If anyone is intending to go to Leadership Blue next weekend in Tampa, is anybody planning on going? Well, you have to be there. We'll be having a business meeting at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, so it's just a pop-in. But that will be, all the candidates will be coming in. We don't really schedule those meetings at Leadership Blue. The following weekend, our summer conference is in Fort Lauderdale, the weekend of July 22. We have every major candidate in the state coming through, all of them, Freed, Chris, Demings, will all be there. We have all of our congressional delegation will be there. Many candidates will be there. Panels on abortion. One panel that I'm really excited about is what the legislature was doing. They were throwing us all this culture stuff, all this anti-LGBTQ culture stuff, because they weren't focusing on the economic issues. So we're going to have a discussion of that, what they didn't work on. We'll be hearing about from Dave Ehrenberg, who is the state attorney in Palm Beach, on what the Dobbs abortion decision means for the LGBTQ community with marriage, and the Lawrence decision, and so that outlook. State Senator Lauren Book, our Democratic leader, will be there. Fentrice Driscoll, our House Democratic leader, will be there. It'll be a really phenomenal, intense weekend of discussions. We'll be giving our Congressional Leadership Award at our Saturday evening reception to Stephanie Murphy for her work on the January 6th committee investigating the insurrection and the coup attempt by Donald Trump. And she, by the way, is leading the Tuesday hearing. So that's a phenomenal event. We also will be streaming it. If you'd like to, if you can't join us in person in Fort Lauderdale, which you should, you can watch it on video. And it's an intense weekend because it's not only the discussion of issues, but it really sets out the framework for where we move forward this election cycle. Talking about the issues, defining the issues, giving you ideas and thoughts for what can work here locally as we're fighting this battle this year. We just actually held a congressional candidate debate for CD23, which is down in Broward County and Palm Beach County for Ted Deutsch's retiring seat. It's the first time all the candidates were together. So we bring people together like that, and we talk about our issues and the broader issues, because all issues are LGBTQ issues. It's not just same-sex marriage or marriage equality or the transgender issues. The economy is our issue. A strong economy means equality for all. So that's part of our message too. We're looking at a bigger, broader agenda. Our goal is to mobilize and energize Democrats, the LGBTQ Democrats, their allies, to focus on our issues and to turn them out this election cycle. We, in 2020, we organized, we were the only Biden-Harris LGBTQ Get Out the Vote Center in the country that we, the caucus, organized in those matters. And we'll be doing that again this election. And I know there's a lot of focus, but I always keep talking about Broward County. Our oldest and largest chapter, the Dolphin Democrats, is celebrating its 40th anniversary. They're such an institution in Broward County that they're just a part of the political fabric. That's my goal for all of our chapters, is to become so ingrained in the county organization that there's no choice but for every candidate to come and talk to you, hear you, work with you, and for you to be involved in their policy decisions and help them shape what they're working on and voting on and how they're thinking. One other thing, and then I'll cut short my 75 minutes. We also do a lobby days every spring in Tallahassee. We've been virtual for the past 2 years because of COVID. We will be in person this year. We do them ourselves. We used to do them in conjunction with Equality Floirda, but we had enough people and our issues were a little bit different. We work closely with Equality Floirda. However, we are a partisan organization. We're Democrats, so we take a different tack than they can. And we do work closely with our partners, Equality Floirda, HRC, SAVE, Palm Beach HRC. Those relationships have changed over the years. My theory, as Nathan said, we're stronger together. We're different organizations. We're a volunteer organization. We can't do everything. And so we rely on other organizations that are professional organizations that have staffs and resources to carry a lot of the work. But we work together. 99% of the time we're moving in the same direction, and if there's a difference, it's really only over tactics or strategy, not about the goal. So we have phenomenal relationships at all levels. Let me stop there, because I know that's a lot of information, and it's a little unstructured. But I'm happy to take questions. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any about who we are, what we do, what's next, where we're going. Yes.
A long time ago, I was at a meeting in Washington, D.C. for business executives, LGBTQ, and Barney Frank was our keynote speaker. And he gave us a mandate as LGBTQ professionals to come out wherever you are, to let people know that you're normal people. And I think the ignorance in Tallahassee, the ignorance in Washington, D.C. about us is so overwhelming that that's why they think that we're second-class citizens. And I think we need to come out wherever we are.
That's exactly right. I agree with you. And you've never been yelled at until you've been yelled at by Barney Frank. It is not a pleasant experience. But that's exactly right. The interesting thing, though, is it's not ignorance. It's willful ignorance. They know LGBTQ people. They know trans people. They know who we are as a community and as a people. They have family members. They know who we are. They choose not to focus on that because they're following an ideological agenda. that is not based on policy, it's not based on any democratic value. It's based on just power. And they have done everything that they have to possibly need to do, and now they're just looking for things to do. And that is just division and discrimination. There's no rationale for anything that they're doing. There's no economic reason for what they're doing. It's solely about making us be the other. We saw them start with the trans community, because they thought they could pick off the trans community, that'd be the easiest place to go, and now they're coming after the rest of us. And we need to stick together. There's no other way around this. Anybody else? Yes?
I'm concerned because I keep hearing on the news that the Democrats themselves are fighting horribly among themselves and not supporting Biden, which is so utterly important now for the Democrats to get in. If we don't have the Democrats in the Senate and the Congress, that's really an uphill fight.
I agree, that's true. I mean, look, again, that's a tactics argument. I mean, I personally, I would love to see the president and the administration be, play hardball.
Yeah.
I think I think his default position is to be senatorial where he was all those years, but that's, Senate as an institution doesn't even work that way anymore. And I think he needs to play a little harder, a lot harder. I mean, I feel in a lot of cases, they're playing hardball and we're playing ping pong.
Yes.
And we're behind the ball. But, you know, we support the administration. They are, when Biden campaigned, he said he would be the most pro-LGBTQ plus administration in history, and he has been. There's been tremendous strides. He's been rolling back all of Trump's actions, and even going beyond what we have asked for as a community. So we're supportive, but this election cycle, this year, was a little raw for me because I've been yelling at the FDP for a while. But, you know, we're not playing at the level that we should. DeSantis has an amazing ability. He's got a TV network behind him and an echo chamber that, you know, we'll repeat whatever he says, and $150 million. So anybody would have a challenge facing that. But let's try. You know, that kind of feels like we're not. Let's try. Let's try to meet them where they are. Let's play on their, we need to meet them on their turf because that's where things are right now, and play the same way they're playing. I don't think we are. Our numbers are against us, but let me tell you something. This is a good indication that things are changing. Chris, you had the tape of Xander. We have at our conference, we have 4 of the young kids, and I can use that phrase, the kids who organized the Don't Say Gay walkouts in their schools. They're coming to talk to us about what's next. My contention has been for a while that that generation is going to carry this election. They are energized, they are pissed off, they have boundless energy, they know what they want to do, and they're fearless. And when you, it's like the March for Our Lives kids were 4 years ago after Parkland. That's what they're going to do. We need to harness them and follow them. When you factor in that plus the anger over the abortion decision.
Oh, yeah.
Plus the anger among the marginalized communities, the Black community, brown community, LGBTQ community. We can organize, we can harness all that and mobilize that and have some traction this year. Somebody needs to be doing that. We're doing what we can. And we're just trying to gather all those forces to make it work. And so that's the challenge this year. And it's groups like this and efforts like this, you know, it's not too late to start. It's July, we have a long way to go. But our primary election is in a month, and then the general is in November. There's time to get people to focus on these issues and to turn out. And that's what we need to do.
Do you have any concerns about the Supreme Court after the Roe v. Wade decision?
Well, yes, of course. I mean, that's such a broad question. Yes, I think the court is an illegitimate organization right now. They've been heading down that path since Bush v. Gore in 2020, in 2000 rather, and obviously I'm biased. And now now we've just reached the height of that, where they've disregarded, they lied in confirmation hearings, they've disregarded not only public opinion, but it's the first time in history that rights have been rolled back. And they've made it clear that they're not stopping. And it is, they're coming after us again, because they can. It's been a 50-year fight, and they played the long game, and they're at the point they always wanted to get to. And now we're trying to play catch-up again. That's why we need to be playing hardball and do whatever we can electorally, because that's the only way that we can pull that back right now. Chris, tell me when you want me to stop.
As long as they have questions, we will.
Okay.
Is it, what about stacking, having Biden stack the,